Hello and welcome to BlueTube, where we talk all things blue, and welcome to another episode of Transfer Talk. And today, as the title below shows, I'm going to be talking about two players in particular. Number one, James Rodriguez, who is shown on the screen here, and secondly, Cesc Fabregas, who is currently a Chelsea player. Before I go on though, I just want to mention two things. Number one, I am back in Dubai. For those of you who have been watching me before the summer, you guys will know, this will seem very familiar to you guys. The posters, the monitor, all this stuff. For those of my new viewers, this is my setup. This is my main setup that I'm going to be rolling with for the next few months until the next summer. The reason that in the summer I actually went to Korea, which is why the setup was different, and I actually made a video talking about all of this just like last week or something. So if you guys want an update, go check that out. Secondly, I know this isn't this is last season's kit. This isn't the new one. The reason I'm not wearing the new one today is because it is actually being washed. So that's an explanation for that. But let's get to the important thing for today. The important thing are these two players, which I mentioned. Let's begin with James Rodriguez. About a week, or maybe a week and a half ago, a rumor started to surface that Chelsea are plotting a bid for James Rodriguez and that we were really interested in adding him to our squad. And it was kind of a very extraordinary rumor because he's a star player. No one really expected this rumor to randomly surface because we seem to be looking for center backs or strikers. We're being linked with Lukaku, with Koulibaly, with Romagnoli, with all these different players. With, I think even Chiellini and then like Ricardo Rodriguez, all these different players, and he kind of just popped up out of nowhere. And what's funny is actually, if you guys go back like 2 months, back to like June, in my transfer wish list video, I said that I would want Rodriguez to join our club. In that video, I said we should sell Oscar and buy Rodriguez. But then after that, after making the video, I added an annotation which said, actually, never mind, I think we should keep Oscar and not buy Rodriguez. And the reason I'm telling you this is because it was a very difficult decision to make of whether or not we should buy Rodriguez or not, whether or not we should put faith in the players that we already have currently or not. And this is a kind of debate, the theme of today's video, whether we buy Rodriguez and sell Fabregas, who I'm going to talk about soon, or whether we put our faith in Fabregas and not buy Rodriguez. But let's get to the facts, the transfer rumors, and all the stories that have been popping up. Apparently, about a week or so ago, Chelsea made a £42 million bid for Rodriguez, and it was rejected. It was quite obvious because they're not going to sell a player of his caliber for £42 million. That's just insane. That's like inconceivable. But apparently, 24 hours ago, Chelsea have made a £60 million bid for Rodriguez, a much improved, a much more realistic bid of £60 million. And this is getting a few heads turning at Real Madrid. Should we sell him or not? And the story that the media is showing is in Real Madrid, Zinedine Zidane, the current manager of Real Madrid, wants him to stay, wants James to stay. He's even publicly said, he's our player, I want him to stay our player. But in the upper kind of ranks of the club, there's a lot of uncertainty. People are saying, he's not even playing regularly. He's not a first-team player. We might as well get some cash out of him. Especially £60 million is a lot of money. By the way, £60 million is the highest bid that Chelsea have ever made for a player. And if you guys remember, the most amount of money that we've spent on a player was $50 million for Fernando Torres. So if this deal does go through, he will be the most expensive player in our club's history. Just a little FYI. But at Real Madrid, there's a lot of uncertainty. Some people want him to stay there, and I'm talking about the people in the boards, the people who make these decisions. Some people want him to stay, some people want him to go, or they want the money. And amidst all this uncertainty, apparently, some news outlets are reporting that George Mendes, the agent of James Rodriguez, has told Chelsea that if you pay a certain amount, I think it was like 60 or 65 million pounds, Real Madrid is probably going to accept that bid. And that is coming from the agent of Rodriguez. So it's kind of believable, right? So I really do think that if we step up our offer to 65, 70 million pounds, or maybe even our 60 million pound bid, I think it has a possibility of getting accepted. And this deal is not as crazy as maybe it at first seemed. It is a very realistic transfer that could happen. But the question that this raises is, what are the implications of signing Rodriguez? And now I'm going to talk about Cesc Fabregas. There's been a lot of uncertainty surrounding him as well. Actually, I'll get his photo up here. Yep, that says Fabregas. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding him. For the last 2 weeks especially, lots of reports saying he's not a part of Conte's plans, he's not defensively good enough, Apparently stories that Chelsea have offered him to clubs like Juventus or PSG, Real Madrid and Barcelona, just like take him and give us money. And they've been kind of trying to open up negotiations, but none of those clubs have really shown an interest, which is why he's still here, presumably. And if you guys saw the West Ham game or opening game of the season, this was actually a photo taken then. He did not play a single minute in that game, and you can see in this photo, you can see from his face, like, why am I not playing this game? Because the game was 1-1, we were chasing for that second goal. He's the perfect player to throw on. He's a creative attacking midfielder who can kind of open up doors, create chances to get that goal that we needed. And thankfully we did get the goal that we needed from a brilliant goal by Diego Costa. But Fabregas did not play a role in that game at all. He did not play a single minute. Second game against Watford, which happened just a few days ago. I'm sure you guys still remember it. It was a thrilling game, or at least for the last 30 minutes or so. We were 1-0 down away against Watford. And I can't remember the exact minute. It was sometime in the second half when we were 1-0 down. Fabregas came onto the pitch and he completely changed the game. I think he kind of proved to Conte that he is the right player for this team. He's the right man for the job. What he did was the first goal. I'm sure you guys have watched the game, but the first goal, he was the one who passed the ball to Hazard, who then took a shot, and then Batshuayi got the rebound from that shot. But without him, that probably wouldn't have happened. The second goal, it certainly would not have happened without him. He pulled up a spectacular pass. That ball that weaved through 4 Watford defenders and found its way to Diego Costa on a one-on-one opportunity, which he finished to make it 2-1 to Chelsea. And without Fabregas, that would not have happened. And it seemed, for the first 60-70 minutes before Fabregas came on, the game was so stale. We weren't creative. We weren't able to make these chances. We weren't able to take advantage of the incredible amount of possession that we were having, because we didn't have a creative player who could unlock defenses, who could create chances. We had Oscar, Matic, and N'Golo Kante on, and N'Golo Kante and Matic are great players, but they're defensive midfielders. That's their role. That's what they've been trained. What they've been kind of doing their whole careers. Actually, that's not true, because Matic, I think, used to play as an attacking midfielder. Anyway, but that's their main goal. Is to their main trade is defense, and then the only kind of creative player that we have is Oscar, and we know that he's kind of an inconsistent player. When he plays well, he can play really well. When he doesn't, he kind of tends to disappear in games. And we need a player like Fabregas who can kind of unlock everything and just kind of just open up doors, create chances, create goals. That's what he did against Watford. And since that game, it's actually kind of similar to the Oscar kind of speculation, if you ask me. A few weeks ago, or about a month ago actually, before the Chelsea-Real Madrid game in pre-season, lots of speculation surrounding Oscar. Apparently Inter made a £30 million bid for him. Chelsea were willing to sell him. Oscar wasn't a part of Conte's plans. And then in the game against Real Madrid, Oscar scored 2 goals. He played, no, not against Real Madrid, sorry. Against someone, I can't remember. You guys can tell me in the comment section down below. But it definitely wasn't Real Madrid. But it was against someone, and he scored 2 goals. He had a great game. And then all those rumors just disappeared, and Conte seemed to put his trust in him, and he's been playing a big role in the Chelsea team so far. It seems similar to the Fabregas story. Hopefully it ends the same way, with Fabregas staying at Chelsea and the speculation disappearing. But the question that I ask of you is this. Imagine in a hypothetical future, in a hypothetical scenario, if we bought James Rodriguez for, let's say, £70 million, and then we sold Fabregas for £30 million, that's a net loss of £40 million, would you make that deal? Would you, if you had the option of selling Fabregas and buying Rodriguez, would you do that? Because they're both kind of similar players in that they're not, very defensive minded, they're attacking minded, they're great at opening up defenses, they're great at creating chances, so they're both similar players in that regard. So I just want to ask you guys, do you think that is a deal that you guys would want to take? My answer to that question is no. That is not a deal that I would take, because I have a lot of love for Fabregas. He's a player that I really like. He's been at the club for 2 seasons now. He's won trophies with us. He knows how to lead. He's an experienced player. He knows the Premier League. And he's showing that he's a great player throughout this entire preseason. He's showing that he's a great player. In fact, I was quite surprised to see all the speculation, considering that Conte showed so much faith in him in this preseason. But the situation that we're in now is a situation of a lot of uncertainty. And, personally, I'm scared that Fabregas is going to get sold. Because I think he is one of the most valuable players to our team, because without him, we look lost. It looks like we don't know how to attack. We physically don't know how to get the ball forward and create a situation in which we can have a shot. That's the kind of team we look like right now. And you could argue that Rodriguez would bring that as well. And maybe he's a better player. I don't really know. You could argue a lot of things, which I hope to argue in the description, in the comment section down below. But for me, I think we have to show our faith in Fabregas. And I thought personally before the season started that Fabregas is a contender to become a future captain. He's a potential future captain for the club. I really do want him to stay. I think he's a great player. I love the guy, and I love Rodriguez as well. I think he's a fantastic player. And another option is, and maybe you guys could tell me if you prefer this option to the previous two. If we keep Fabregas, but also bring Rodriguez for £70 million, that is another option. But then would that kind of overflood the midfield? Overflood is not a word. Would that kind of overcrowd the midfield? Would we have too many midfielders? Fabregas, Oscar, Conte, Matic, Rodriguez, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. What about Loftus-Cheek? What's his role in the team going to be if we bring in another superstar from Real Madrid? So I think there's a lot of questions to be asked here. I personally hope that we're going to keep Fabregas and that we're going to not buy Rodriguez. And the thing is, if we are going to splash the cash on anybody, it should be on a striker, in my opinion. And we should be looking at strikers. But the thing is, we only have a week left of the transfer window. I have a feeling it's going to be an absolutely crazy week. Hopefully, I'm here with you guys, making more videos now that I'm back in Dubai, making more and more transfer talks, bringing you guys the latest news. But guys, that is my opinion on this. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. And that wraps up the transfer talk for today. But before I end the video, I want to talk a little bit about the format of this video. Because those of you who have been following me for a while will know that this transfer talk was slightly different to other transfer talks. Because usually what I do is I put up news articles on the screen here and I link them all in the description down below so you guys can read them as well. And then I talk, and usually my transfer talks, I talk about 3, 4, or 5 different stories. So if this was a normal video, I would have talked about Rodriguez, I would have talked about Fabregas, I would have talked about Ricardo Rodriguez, the left back from Wolfsburg, who we are being linked with. I would have talked about Romagnoli, who actually just today we've had a £30 million bid rejected for Romagnoli. I would have probably talked about him, and I would have talked about a whole ton of different things. But the reason that I chose to all these things is because I want to bring more focus into my videos, and I want to hear your feedback on what you think about this. In my transfer talks, instead of talking about 3, 4, 5 different players, from now on I want to talk about 1, maximum 2 different players. And what I was hoping that would do was not only bring more focus, but also help to make my videos shorter. That did not happen today, which I apologize for. Or maybe, I don't apologize for, because a lot of you enjoy longer videos. I don't know. But the thing is, I want to try to make my videos shorter, more focused, more coherent, more logical. And I think this is a logical step to take forward into doing that. And the reason I didn't put these news articles this time was I wanted to kind of make this channel kind of the outlet of news, if that makes sense. Not just a redistributor of news. I want to be forming my own opinions and telling you guys, from my perspective, instead of telling you guys from the perspective of these different, various articles. So, I want to hear your feedback on this kind of new format of transfer talk. Hopefully what this will mean is that I'm able to make more videos as well. So, if there's let's say it's a normal day, and there's 4 different stories going on right now. Instead of making one video talking about all 4 of these, which last 20-30 minutes long, I can make 4 different videos talking about each of these that are 5 to 10 minutes long each. Sorry. So that is the kind of my future vision for transfer talk. But actually there's only a week left of the transfer window, so there's not really a lot of time to mess around with it. But guys, I want to hear your thoughts, and this video is getting long, so I'm going to end it here, guys. So thanks for watching. Hopefully in the future my videos are going to be more condensed, more focused, more to the point, and shorter, so that you guys can consume it to its maximum, if that makes sense. But guys, thanks for watching. Tell me your thoughts about Fabregas versus Rodriguez, an interesting battle, in the comment section down below. I hope to talk to you guys there. And as always, see you later and stay blue.